Imagine living in a medieval castle with no refrigeration. How would you keep meat from spoiling for months? The answer isn't just one technique, it's an entire system of preservation methods working together. We're going to explore how salting, smoking, and drying created a food security network that sustained entire communities through harsh winters and long sieges. What if I told you those salt barrels and smoking racks worked as a single preservation machine? Medieval communities needed every method to operate together because meat could spoil in multiple ways at once. Salt alone couldn't stop all bacteria. Smoking without proper prep would fail, so they developed a step-by-step process that made each technique reinforce the others. They started by pressing dry salt into meat or soaking it in brine. This drew out moisture through osmosis. The salt created an environment where most microbes couldn't survive, but some stubborn organisms could still linger. Then came smoking. Meat hung over slow-burning fires of specific woods like oak or hickory. The heat continued drying the meat, removing even more moisture. Meanwhile, compounds in the smoke penetrated the surface, acting as natural antimicrobial agents. This one-two punch created products that could last for months. The combined effect was greater than either method alone. Salt dealt with moisture-loving bacteria, while smoke addressed other spoilage mechanisms. Why did they need this layered approach? Different foods spoiled in different ways. Some microbes thrived in moist conditions, others in specific temperatures. The salt-smoke combination created a robust barrier against multiple threats. This system allowed communities to store meat through seasons of scarcity. It turned perishable resources into stable food supplies. The integration of methods meant they could withstand variable storage conditions. That would ruin separately preserved foods. That integrated thinking extended beyond just meat preservation. It shaped their entire approach to food security, leading directly to their next brilliant solution: the underground refrigeration network. Here's what most people get wrong about medieval cellars. They weren't just dark storage spaces, but sophisticated climate control systems. Beyond the salt and smoke methods we just discussed, medieval communities needed ways to keep preserved foods cool and stable throughout seasonal changes. The problem was maintaining consistent temperatures without modern insulation materials. So, how did they solve this? They leveraged the earth itself. Underground pits and cellars used the ground's natural thermal mass to maintain temperatures around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. This stable environment dramatically slowed the chemical processes that cause food to spoil. Different foods require different conditions. Root cellars use precise humidity control. Damp sand layered around root vegetables, like carrots and turnips, kept them from drying out, while drier sections protected grains and legumes from mold. Each type of food had its own optimized microclimate. In colder regions, they built ice houses. These structures collected packed snow and ice during winter months, insulating them with thick layers of straw and earth. This stored coldness provided cooling power through the summer, essentially creating a seasonal refrigeration system. The genius of these underground spaces wasn't just their coolness, it was their consistency. They created environments where temperature and humidity rarely fluctuated, which meant preserved foods wouldn't spoil from sudden warmth or moisture changes. This approach slowed decomposition in multiple ways at once. By exploiting natural thermal properties and mastering humidity control, medieval people built what amounted to a renewable refrigeration network. This ground-based cooling formed a critical third layer in their food preservation system, working alongside the salt smoke methods and leading directly to their final preservation strategy. Medieval food preservation formed an interconnected system where each method supported the others. Salting, smoking, and underground storage together protected against different types of spoilage. The salt dealt with moisture-loving bacteria, the smoke targeted airborne microbes, and controlled temperatures prevented chemical breakdown. When you see historical recipes mentioning salted meats or pickled vegetables, you're looking at pieces of a complete survival strategy. These weren't isolated tricks, but layers of protection that made food security possible. They demonstrate how medieval people approached complex problems with systematic thinking, using limited technology to build resilience against scarcity and uncertainty in their food supply.